Tonight on the BigFooty Blues podcast, we review the epic comeback win over West Coast. We discuss the scintillating form of Mark Murphy. We talk about the need to ice the clock and lots more. So whatever your taste...
I licked it to see if it was salty.
Whatever your preference...
I'm going to visit the ladies.
Have you powdered your nose? You big sissy girl is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah.
We have something for you. Coming right up. And welcome to the BigFooty Blues Weekend Woohoo podcast for round 6. Yes, I know it's usually the weekend wait, but given the effort on Saturday and for the last 2 weeks, some thought it seemed a little morbid, so we changed it for a week. I'm ODN, feeling a little worse for wear tonight, but I'm going to channel my navy blue spirit and dig deep. With me here in Podcast Central, rumour has it he was alone and prancing around his lounge room on Saturday, but then the game started. Welcome back, Shandog.
G'day. I felt so pretty.
Reports have surfaced that she may be hatching a plot to slip Mark Murphy and Mickey and have her wicked way with him. Hi, Bluebell.
Hi, guys.
And she went from psycho to psychic in the space of a couple of days when she tipped the win and the margin on Saturday night. Please welcome resident clairvoyant Madam Mebby.
Hi, everyone.
That's good.
And Happy Dude has taken his anti-Collingwood sentiment to extremes by going to visit a dentist today, so won't be joining us again. Let's get into the reason for our mirth and merriment tonight. On Saturday at Etihad, Carlton 14-8-92 defeated West Coast 12-17-89. For Carlton, Garlett kicked 3 goals. Waite and Henderson kicked 2, and singles to Robinson, Warnock, Murphy, McLean, Tui, Buckley and Menzel. Best for Carlton were Thomas, McLean, Gibbs, Simpson, Jamison, Murphy and Garlett. Andrew Carazzo was a late replacement in the selected side by Dylan Buckley. What a great decision that was. And Chris Yarran was injured in the third quarter of the game. Folks, how did we watch the game and how did we enjoy it?
It was pretty brilliant. I was alone all night, which was fantastic because I was up and about in my own place. Didn't have to worry about getting a bit too rowdy. But yeah, look, I don't know. There's so much good we can take out of that game. But ultimately, that fight and spirit at the end to come back and I'd written us off 10 minutes into the last quarter, but to come back with all that gut running and hard work and teamwork and everything was just absolutely brilliant to see. Especially considering that we had people questioning our fitness at the start of the season, and we had to defend that, and this twice in a row now the guys have really just smashed it out over the whole 4 quarters, really. I mean, we did play really good footy in bursts, but it was still a good effort over the whole game, I reckon. Ultimately, West Coast, you could say they were a little bit unlucky, but in this game, I reckon you make your own luck, and it comes from effort and belief, and that's what we had in spades, so it was brilliant. Most people won their position. There's not too much bad you could say about the game at all. And I don't know, I was absolutely stoked at the end of it.
Oh, yeah, good call. Nebby, how do you see it?
Oh, gosh, what an exciting game to watch. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with close games. I always want the games to be close, but when they're happening, it just makes me feel sick. And I was watching it with my hands over my eyes and I couldn't sit still. And it was just too exciting for me. I think Dylan Buckley should get every pat on the back that is physically possible. That kid is a little star. His poise under pressure is just amazing, and it's kind of belonging to somebody who's much more senior than what he is. Same goes with Menzel. They're awesome. Rowe had another awesome game, which makes me happy. He's doing a lot to shut up all the people who question him in the side, and I definitely think there's a place for him yet. He's doing a fantastic job. Same with Warnock. He kicked a goal.
Yes.
Warnock
First goal.
He kicked the
See
first
that again?
goal in the first minute of the game. So I dips me lid to your Warnock. That was very, very impressive. And I think, the guys have obviously put in a lot of hard work over the last couple of weeks to really become #united, and hold hands and sing Kumbaya and all that sort of thing, and it's really, really working for them. And it was brilliant. I loved it every minute, and I watched it again every day.
Oh, and I disbelieve to you for that, Memi. Bluebell, how did you see it?
Oh, same as the other guys, but I guess the good thing for me was the crowd was really up on Saturday night. Like, they were just buzzing, and even, 10 minutes into the last quarter, everyone's sitting around a bit nervous, a couple of people leaving, and the thing that changed for us was we struggled to get it past the centre line, and then once we could figure that out and take the game on, we always score very quickly. So never wrote us off, even said to Mum and Dad that, Mum, it's not over yet, don't worry, because she gets all panicky and stuff. And those dying minutes, the 3 minutes, my uncle was listening to the call on the radio, so we knew exactly how long there was. And I tell you what, my heart skipped a beat when that ball was, going through, and then it hit the post, and oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
Which time?
But, yeah, both times. And then the point in the last. But kudos to the guys. They dug deep. They made me very proud. And a lot of them have shut up their critics, which is fantastic. So, very, very happy Blue Bagger on Saturday night.
Yeah, some of those critics were on our very own BigFooty Blues board. It was funny to see the tone change around very quickly when people thought the game was all over, and again, people calling for people's heads, and they weren't happy. And I didn't see any reason. I thought we actually gave effort all the way through the game. So it wasn't, if we were to go down, it wasn't in the manner of the first, certainly the Essendon and Melbourne games. We were certainly in there trying, and given the changes to our side, you'd expect that we might have fallen away, but, Brock McLean said something very interesting. He said, Robert Wiley was on the sidelines, and he went up to him halfway through the last quarter when he went off for a rest and said, "What are we doing wrong?" And he said, "The work rate's gone down. You need to work harder." And I thought they were working pretty hard, but it just goes to show you only need it to drop off by a couple of percent, and suddenly you're off your game. And Brock said he went back out there and got a few of the guys together in the huddles there and said, we've got to work harder. And everybody just found something and lifted again when they really had no right to do so.
Yep.
So, that's inspirational stuff. It was one of the best wins I've seen, maybe because of where we are and where we were positioned in the game, and I love a comeback victory. They're ones for the ages. I'll be keeping a copy of that around, just when I want a little pick-me-up, because that was brilliant stuff.
Yeah. We absolutely love them, but, can we only have maybe a few a season?
Yeah.
Not every week.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah.
Seeing the big guys again, Henderson, Casbolt and Waite, and the way they're leading up the ground, it's working for us. A lot of marks and a lot of running and opening up space. And Hendo was on one of the football shows on Sunday, I believe, and he said just having the three-pronged tall attack up there is enabling the pressure to come off the guys behind.
I heard him say that, and he also said that it means that he doesn't have to keep running from side to side taking the lead.
So they're not spent by the time they get there. He's got plenty of energy to run and leap at the ball, and
it makes sense.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah, and look, let's face it, it's a lot easier to do when you've got somebody dour down the back like Sam Rowe. He just goes along like the Terminator. He's just run, punch,
destroy ball with this.
17 one-percenters, and they're all coming from spoils from Sam Rowe.
That's huge. That is absolutely huge.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and you made the point about Robbie Warnock up in the ruck. Now, there was one stage in the last quarter there, and some of the football shows have picked up on that too. West Coast had 3 ruckmen out there, and for the tying goal to Dylan Buckley, Robbie Warnock got a perfect backhanded tap down to Kane Lucas.
Yeah.
And no West Coast player went up in the ruck. They've got 3 guys.
Stood around watching.
Cox stood around. He didn't go to the contest when the ball up was called for. He was about 10 metres away from the contest, and he stayed down. He didn't even go to the ruck. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he thought somebody else, maybe they get confused because there's so many tall guys in their side. Maybe he thought it was somebody else's turn, but that was Silver's service.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the other goals as well, I saw on one of the footy shows they highlighted Henderson getting that getting free when Garlett had that really good pickup and then sort of snapped a pass to Hendo, who kicked it from about 40 from the set shot. You could see the defenders on the wide angle as well. One of them just wasn't paying attention, had a massive brain fade. It was Mackenzie from West Coast. He's just peeled off. Henderson went round the back, and it's not like he was, particularly trying to hide it. There was no body contact or anything like that. He just didn't see what was going on and left. And it seemed like, I think there was a few occasions there where either the Eagles were so spent, or they just didn't have that confidence, or just lack of talk, where they dug their own grave. And like I said before, I mean, they were a bit unlucky, but you make your own luck when you work hard and you have belief in yourself. And I think that's what separated the two teams in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another example was Mark Murphy when he went on his run down the wing, and I think it was Luke Shuey who just who gave up in the chase, and that's all pivotal stuff. And the thing is, we were out on our feet a long time before that. We were the ones that looked like we had run out of legs. And Murphy was absolutely spent. He barely cleared the West Coast defender with that kick over Menzel because he was so exhausted. But that was gut running, yet his opponent couldn't actually summon the same effort.
Yeah. So it looked like he stopped, and when he kicked, he just immediately stopped and hunched over and said, "I'm done."
Yeah. Don't blame him. He deserves a rest after that.
Well, that's 2 weeks in a row where we've just drained every ounce of energy out of ourselves in order to get over the line. You could just keep naming the heroes. Daisy Thomas and that spoil. When he smother off the roof. It's been a long time since we've seen that sort of effort from players, and we said after the Bulldogs game, wonder if they can back that up, and they have. So maybe they're starting to believe, they're starting to see what it takes, and a couple of players got dropped. Jeff Garlett was dropped for a couple of weeks. He's come back and he's tried his absolute guts out. It was one of our best players. So
his team efforts were amazing.
Yeah.
It's the same as Wadey. When Wadey got dropped, he come back last week firing. So, I think it's the best thing Malthouse could have done.
Yep.
Yeah, McLean had a great game too.
Yeah, Brock, he was out and he's come back and had a really good game with a big effect on the contest. So, look, it's going to be difficult. There's possibly a couple of players to come back into that side, but it's really hard to see who makes way. Again, another player that was out and much maligned after the first month of football, Mitch Robinson, for bombing the ball long. Well, he started coming out and actually lowering his eyes and spotting up balls on the lead. I mean, when do you ever see that from?
And hit people on the chest.
It was incredible.
Well, except for the last quarter, but other than that, it was bad. Yeah, but other than that, you're dead set right. He had a very good game.
Yeah. It's just I don't know, that enthusiasm and that confidence that they gain, and they start trusting in each other, and they start doing their own jobs instead of thinking that they've got to cover for their teammate because their teammate's not going to get there or not going to do it. They're actually starting to believe in themselves. And watching the way those young guys like Menzel and Buckley and Lucas again, sort of radiate to each other, and how confident did Kane Lucas look out there? He's sticking his tackles. That roving of that Warnock tap to get the ball out to Buckley. I made the comment on the boards that Scotland was coming through, running towards goal at that same contest. Lucas got it a fraction of a second earlier and pulled it away from Scotland because he knew exactly where he wanted that ball to go. And he didn't hesitate, look around for options. He knew exactly where Dylan was, and he got it to him very quickly so that nobody could close that gap down. And Buckley, in himself, the way he found space and maintained that space while that ruck contest was going on, he ran to that side of the contest knowing exactly where he was going to run to after that. There's something special happening there, and people say we have no youth. Well, our youth just need a little bit. They just need a little bit of confidence.
Yeah. I feel like everything's coming together. Do you know what I mean? Like, all these bits and pieces were floating around, and we'd have seniors playing really well, or we'd have young kids playing really well, or bits of the game plan would work, or something like that. But over the last 2 weeks, it feels like it's all happening at once.
Yeah, they're starting to gel, which is what you want. Yeah. How pumped was Bucks after his goal? Like, he was just
brilliant.
Love
it gave me goosebumps when I watched it back because he just bleeds navy blue. And I know Satantaro Halpin was like that, but we haven't had a son of a gun like that since Sauce. Like, you know, it's just fantastic.
It was infectious, isn't it? He just rubs off on those around him. And it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what stage of the game. He's always full of energy and hyping others.
So wrapped that he finally got his first win. Oh, God.
I know. About time.
Really unlucky last week. And going back to the changes this week, I mean, do you really change a winning side? Like, I can't. I mean, there's a question mark over Carazzo, and I just can't see who would come out. And I really, really hope they don't drop Bucks for matchups or anything, because he deserves to be there this Friday night in front of, 80,000 at the G. It's going to be magnificent.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the tackle count this week, we absolutely smashed West Coast.
Yeah.
You know, we just won the contested possessions, but, you know, when you get those two together and you're ahead, especially ahead by that much in the tackles, that shows how much your work rate, how much more of a work rate you have than the opposition. So, yeah, I don't know. It's only, we're only talking the Bulldogs and West Coast who didn't make the finals last year. And West Coast have probably looked a little bit better than they are based on, some of the opposition they've had thus far. So we don't want to get ourselves go crazy here. But I just feel like we're back in the contest against everybody now.
Yeah.
I'd love to see. Wookie did a really, really good write up with some stats for the upcoming Collingwood game, and I'd love to see where we place if we were to say, just take out the Essendon game, for example, and maybe the Melbourne game as well, though we weren't too bad stats-wise in that, but take out some of those really bad parts, like the Essendon game itself, and see where we then stack up with stats with the rest of the comp. Like average tackles, average contested possessions and all that sort of thing. I think we'd look a lot better if we took that game out there, and then you'd look at the Collingwood versus Carlton game, that happens next week, and go, gee, actually we match them or better them in just about everywhere.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this week is Collingwood's Essendon game.
I love that evil little laugh at the end.
Now, in some motorsports, you get to drop your worst result. That would be nice if the AFL would bring that in. Oh, dear. Is that all we have to say about the game?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's fantastic.
I'll tell you what. I'll have one last parting thing. Last week, I said I thought we turned the corner, and it was probably more in hope. But I tell you what, after this game just gone, I'm pretty sure of it. I believe we've turned the corner. The club is united, and we're going to be a lot better off than people thought we were at the end of round 4.
Just quickly, do you think we can make the finals? I know it's only round 7, but what's your gut feel?
I think the way that the middle of the table is looking like it's going to be. There's been so many surprise results in the first 6 weeks. I reckon you can't even really make an accurate assessment of whether or not you're going to make the top 8 until probably week 10, week 12, where then more of that sort of shakes out a bit and you see who's got the wins and who doesn't. And people were saying that they thought a top 8 berth would need 12 wins, was it, or 13 wins or something for the season? I mean, it might end up being 10 in percentage the way that it seems to be going at the moment. Teams like Sydney dropping right down, West Coast, everyone thought they were going to be up. I think North is going to drop down a little bit more again. They're doing pretty well at the moment, but there's been so many surprise results. You just don't know.
Yeah.
We're not far off it right now statistically.
Well, we're only a game out of the 8, which is
do it.
Amazing.
So
There's no reason why we can't.
Such a big change that from week to week that you just, I don't know.
I'll be the cautious head here and say we still haven't we haven't played Hawthorn, Geelong, Fremantle, Collingwood, Sydney, North Melbourne, North Melbourne, who usually give us a hard time, and there's some of these other sides that we've got to play twice. So
I think we played Geelong twice, don't we?
How many times do we play St Kilda? I mean, you can chalk that down to 2 losses. Yeah, shit.
So look, there's a lot of water under the bridge, but considering where we were 2 weeks ago, where people were suggesting we won't win a game for the year, it's I don't know. Even if we don't make the finals this year, if we keep giving the same effort, I reckon we've got a real platform for a genuine tilt at something over the next couple of seasons. So,
yep,
you know, and you know, we're not relying on Judd. You know, he's not there. So we've turned the corner and we're getting our inspiration from somewhere else. So time will tell.
Yeah.
Okay, just moving on. As of July 23rd, is it July 23rd or June 23rd?
June.
Oh, sorry. Okay. As of June 23rd, Carlton will have a new president. That being Mark Lejudice.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Very good.
I've been practicing.
Lejudice.
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 He'll be coming on board. He's the president in waiting, I guess, when Sticks finishes up after the 150th celebration dinner. And we alluded to that possibility a couple of weeks back, but it's now official. And you know, we're copying a little bit in the media. There's you know, people still talking about the factions at Carlton, and that is a concern if that is the case. Let's hope he's his own man, and he's not going to be answerable to the Mathesons of the world. But I guess we've got to wait until he gets in. He hasn't said a lot so far. So we want to wait till he gets in and he actually addresses the supporters and we actually get to see what the plans are. And let's see whether Carlton become a more, I guess, inclusive club and a more members-driven club. And, yeah, so what does everybody think about the appointment?
I don't really know too much about him, so I can't judge him, I guess, until I see him in action. With Sticks, you kind of knew what you were getting because obviously he's such a Carlton man. You kind of knew what he was going to be like. Mark Lejudice has obviously got a lot of love for Carlton. He's been part of the Carltonians for nearly 20 years and that sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got to offer, but I can't really make a judgment call without knowing anything about him apart from the fact that he's in finance, which is pretty boring, so I don't really care that
much. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Probably a good thing to run a club with, though.
Yeah, that could be useful.
Yeah, you can always hire an accountant for that. But anyway, look, you want somebody who's going to have a little bit of charisma about him, a little bit of, you know, I'll fight in the trenches for this club, and I'll take on, you know, anybody who wants to challenge us in the media or wherever else. So it would be nice to have somebody who's going to, I don't know, just really show the way and not be a figurehead for the factions. A rumour was that he did have to go to Bruce Matheson and seek his approval for presidency. Whether that's true or not, but that's the sort of stuff.
Matheson's not even on the board. Like, seriously, piss off.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Well, that's how ridiculous it is that some people externally have so much influence over the club, I guess. If it's true, I mean, it's just a bit of a rumour.
That's a Caroline Wilson story from today, wasn't it? Or today.
Does Stick stay on the board, or does he step down completely?
Well, no, he's going to stay on the board for the rest of the year and actually, you know, sort of do a bit of a mentoring handover role for the rest of the year. But he said his time as a director is up. So would that be roughly about 15 years? There must be something in there about a director not being able to remain for more than 15 years, if that's the case.
Okay.
I think he came onto the board just a year or so after he retired. He retired in 97. That'll be 98, 99. He must have been on the board. So it might be a 15-year time frame. I wasn't aware of that, but he actually indicated that his time had expired.
Yeah.
So he's not really getting pushed. He had to leave anyway. So, yeah.
I can't believe it's been that long.
I know.
That long, does it?
No. Well, it does for me, but then I'm a little bit of a different vintage for you guys. But I know you weren't going to bring that up.
No.
Of course not. Not while we're recording.
No. Just on the boards at the moment, we're not going to do a board walk, but I just wanted to make mention of a couple of things we've got going on at the moment. We have the Cranium Medal, which is the BigFooty Blues Poster of the Year award. The Poster of the Month for April voting thread is up at the moment. I think we have about 7, 8 nominees, something like that. Now, it's named the Cranium Medal after a former, now late popular poster, the Cranium. Cranium was a very popular figure on the Carlton board. Very generous when it came to sponsorships and giving advice and his time with other posters.
He's an all-round good guy. He was fantastic.
Yeah, so I mean, the least we could do is to name our poster of the year after him, because he was a great poster. So what can you say?
Yeah,
it's appropriate. So look, everybody get into that thread, the voting thread for April, and you can, because there's so many nominees, you can vote for more than one this month. So get in and support the people, and just so they don't feel bad if they're not getting enough votes. We've also got the Didaka Award. Now, this every year, this is something driven by the Carlton moderators about 3 years ago. Didaka was a popular Collingwood poster, and he quite an inspirational one. He passed away, I think it was about 3 years ago now, quite young, and his story is quite inspirational. If you get a chance to go to the Collingwood board and have a read of his story, you should. But every year, Carlton, in the spirit of, I guess, our rivalry, but also a little bit of respect for the rivalry, Carlton posters nominate the best Collingwood poster in the week leading up to our big clash, our first clash of the year, and the moderators will choose a Collingwood poster, and they get to wear a Didaka badge all year long. And I think it's pretty good just for inter-board relationships that we keep that going. So get into that thread. If you see a Collingwood poster is actually being quite reasonable, and in whatever area around Big Footy, get in there, nominate them, and maybe we won't be the bad guys for a week. Moving on to our next segment. Time for On Fire and Under the Pump. That time of the week again, On Fire and Under the Pump. And first up, we have Bluebell doing On Fire. What do you have for us, Bluebell?
Okay, guys. Well, I'm sure you can all think about who it is, because there's only probably one person that's been on fire the last 2 weeks, and that is our beloved captain, Mark Murphy. As you all know, when you're the captain, everybody expects you to lead by example. Unfortunately, for the first month of footy, this wasn't to be the case for Murph. Under fire by fellow supporters and the media for not doing enough on the field as a player, but more importantly, as a leader of our proud footy club. Rewind back to round 1 versus Port, he started the year okay with 23 disposals. He increased that to 28 versus Richmond, but then, as with the rest of our boys, round 3 versus the Druggies was a shocker, producing 21 disposals on a night many of us want to forget. Unfortunately, it only got worse for our man Murph. After another abysmal performance the following week against Melbourne, where Nathan Jones beat him fair and square, he wore the brunt of it from the footy community, media, and most importantly, Carlton members and supporters, including posters on Big Footy. The criticism was harsh but justified, and thankfully Murph hasn't looked back since. So producing 2 best on grounds the past 2 weeks against the Doggies, first with 28 disposals including 12 tackles, and this week 32 disposals including 11 tackles, Murph has led from the front in every aspect. His continuous gut running offensively and defensively, his leadership on the field, his tackling and his hardness at the contest have all been super impressive. He certainly has recaptured the form he showed in 2011, shutting up his critics well and truly. You know who I'm talking about on the boards. Let's hope he can continue his great form on Friday night and beyond. Stick it up the Murph and go the Blues.
Well said.
Yay! Go Murphy!
Oh, look, he's one of the best midfielders in the game when he's on song, and it's been a while. He's been lacking in confidence. We've seen him shake tags the last couple of weeks. We've seen him gut run longer than anybody else. He's in just about every category. Murphy's outshining all his teammates and leading the way, dragging them along with him, and that's what a leader's got to do. He's got to drag the team. He's got to drag his team up. When they're down, he's got to do things to lift them up. And there's more talk out there, and his actions are just exemplary at the moment. So, wow, let's see. If he keeps that form up all year, let's see where people like Mike Sheehan have him in their top 50 after that.
Yeah, there's nothing. I think nothing says it more than the amount of tackles he's had in the last couple of weeks. I mean, if that doesn't show willingness to do everything, all the team things, to work hard running forward, to tackle so much during the game, like 10, 11, 12 tackles 2 games in a row. That's brilliant.
Yeah, sure. It's these. Definitely. I mean, look, it was all justified in the first couple of weeks because, let's face it, we all thought the same thing. But he's certainly proved how good he is the last couple of weeks. So
absolutely. And how good was it when he was selling some candy and kicked that goal?
I love it.
Someone on the board described it the best way I've ever seen it, but I can't remember who it was. And he goes, "Did you lose the ball? Did you lose the ball? No, I'll just give it to the crowd then."
That was brilliant. It was the best.
Perfect way to describe it. And now, whenever I think of it, I have that description in my head, and I'm just like,
Yeah, that goes down as one of the best calls I've seen this year. It was unreal.
Brilliant. I think it's amazing that not only has he become, more leading from the front and showing by example and sticking his tackles and going in really hard, but he has become more vocal as well, which is what we're all crying about. I think everybody needs to eat their words when it comes to Murph, because he's really, really proving himself at the moment. Mm-hmm. He's busting his butt for us.
Yeah, somebody's found the on switch for Murph and the whole team, and aren't we reaping the rewards for it?
I tell you, it's not the on switch, it's the epic switch. He's flicked the epic switch.
True that. And look, with a slightly harder job this week, finding somebody that's under the pump. It's Memi. What do you got?
Well, I couldn't find a person who was under the pump because everybody was so on and so glistening in my mind that I couldn't find an individual. But there is something that really, really frustrates me when it comes to us, and it's our complete inability to ice the clock. And I know you all know what I'm talking about because we sit there and we watch and our hearts are pounding and we can't sit still, and it's because there's 2 minutes left and we can't do it. We can't just shut it down. So there's, a minute 21 seconds, Wait kicks it to Robbo, who tries to kick it on top of someone's head. Of course, West Coast gets the rebound, and thank God that there's padding on the bottom of the post because it just scraped it. We very easily could have lost in that moment. There's 30 seconds left. Wait again has the ball. He kicks it to Everett. Everett misses, which leads to a throw-in. And thank God that they can't kick, and they kick it out on the full. So in the space of 2 minutes, there's 3 times that we could have lost the game very, very easily. Obviously, we don't know what would have happened for the rest of the 2 minutes, but if it was that last kick in the last 30 seconds, we would have been screwed. All I'm saying is my heart can't take it anymore. My blood pressure's through the roof every time I watch this play. Just get the ball. Just hold it. Just take a deep breath, guys, because that's what I'm trying to do, but you're making me hyperventilate every freaking week. Just hold the ball, take your full 30 seconds of or whatever you've got, and don't get cute. I've seen it happen too many times with you guys. I can't be confident until I actually hear the final siren, because there's every chance you're going to kick it out on the full or on the chest of on the chest of another team's player. So please, for the love of God, all I'm asking you to do is, if you're in the lead with 2 minutes to go this week, just hold it. Just sit on it. I don't care what you do. Just don't turn it over.
Don't sit on it. You'll get done holding the ball.
Well, just sit on it in our forward 50 then. Not when it's in the defensive 50, but just wind down the clock. Hold it up. Do something.
Agree, hold it up. Don't sit on it, though.
No, that's a fair point. And the red time goals were really bad for us. And people have mentioned that over a fairly extended period of time of how bad we've had a track record of giving up red time goals. So that's another sort of very pertinent similar point as well. And, the journos doing the write-up for the game on the AFL website even mentioned that, and we kept giving away goals after time on. Not that really exists anymore, but, we kept giving goals after, the notional time on. And those guys don't have a clue what they're talking about, so they've picked it up. It must be an issue.
Those people that have made a living out of commentating on footy.
No, it's a good call, and I think back to certain games, like the Essendon game the second time around last year. We couldn't ice the clock there, and another draw against Essendon. a couple of years back, a few years back, after Simo.
Yeah.
That one haunts me in my sleep.
And Garlic got caught by bloody the old fella. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. See, it's when
Drugs.
you think about it, it's the stuff of nightmares, man.
Sorry, I had to say it.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I mean, I even go back in time to I think Dixon kicking a goal for Hawthorn after might even been after a siren after Jordan During turned it over in a game against Hawthorn when Carlton didn't win much and we lost that one late in the game. So I mean, it just keeps going. We're just not very good at it. We seem to panic a little bit. So. Yeah, let's hope the composure comes and we become really professional when it comes to those sort of things.
Yeah, McLean did mention it in his interview as well, and he said he thought Robbo and the club in general would learn from that as well. So, yep, let's back them in. I'm sure we'll fix it up. Well, I hope we'll fix it up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think we're just about done, like the Eagles were on Saturday night.
Burn.
Until our Thursday night pre-game pep talk, where we're going to discuss, I'm sure, an awful lot about the upcoming Collingwood game on Friday night. It's good night to Shandong.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Bluebell.
Good night, everyone. Have a good week.
Good night, Mebby.
Good night, everyone.
And it's good night from me. We'll catch you all in a few days' time. Bye.